So as much as I talk about that guy, I don't talk about this guy. Near enough. James Lane is arguably going to be a more controversial figure than John Brown for many reasons. And people are still divided on what does James Lane represent. Is he a freedom fighter coming to Kansas to help make it a free state, or is he a political opportunist? Born in Iowa in 1814, James Lane is going to be relatively active in politics from a young age, and he is going to make his way to be an elected congressman from the state of Iowa. While he's in Iowa in 1855, he is actually a Democrat. And he votes in favor of the Kansas-Nebraska Act. He later resigns his seat in Congress and then moves to Kansas, where after originally enrolling as a Democrat, he switches his party to Republican and becomes vehemently anti-slavery. And remember, anti-slavery and abolitionists are not the same thing. So while in Kansas, James Lane is going to become famous for his speeches. It wouldn't be out of the ordinary for James Lane to be giving a speech to hop up on a table or a stump or some other thing that he get elevated on and call slave owners liars, thieves, and devils. Lane's also going to be known for pioneering what today is called the Lane Freedom Trail. Basically, Lane came up with an alternate path that you could go through Iowa, not have to go through Missouri, Westport, or Kansas City, and you could, if you were someone who was anti-slavery abolitionist, you could get into Kansas without having to go through all these post-slavery areas over here. That same route is later going to be used by escaped slaves on the Underground Railroad to get out of Missouri into Kansas and then smuggle their way up north. After Kansas attained statehood, Lane is going to be elected the first senator from the state of Kansas. And he's going to raise his Frontier Guard, which during the Battle of Bull Run protects Abraham Lincoln in the White House to make sure that they won't be overrun by Confederates. Lane is also going to come to Kansas, and he's going to be infamous for his sacking of Osceola and the actions that he has his Jayhawkers take against Missourians. And that action was sanctioned by the United States military. James Lane was also one of the primary targets of Quantrell's raid in Lawrence. He gets out of being shot there because he slips out of his back door, hides in a ravine, and then goes in a cornfield so Quantrell and his men can't find him. Lane gets reelected to the Senate by the Kansas legislature in 1865, but in 1866, after being accused of financial improprieties and of abandoning radical Republican ideals, Lane unalives himself. Lane is a very interesting figure to try to figure out. He's anti-slavery, but he's also in it for his own gain. He voted for the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which kind of sets up all of bleeding Kansas to begin with. So, some people find that guy controversial. I think James Lane is just a little bit more. Have a good day, everybody. Peace.